Hey guys, next lesson, evaluating expressions. So in this lesson, we're basically going to be talking about the same skills that we talked about in the order of operations video, but now it's just making sure that we can substitute in the values for A, B, C, D, E, F into each expression and then evaluate them very carefully. So it says across the top, evaluate each expression given the following values for each variable. A equals 2, B equals -3, C equals 4, D equals -5, E equals 6, and F equals -7. In the first expression, it says 2A plus 3D. When I read that, I know that means 2 times A plus 3 times D. So the very first thing I'm going to do in each one of these problems is simply plug in the numbers. So instead of saying 2A, it's 2 times 2 because A had a value of 2, plus 3 times -5 because D is -5. Notice when I substituted those values in, I put parentheses around the values that I plugged in because I want to make sure I acknowledge the fact that it's 2A, 2 times A, 3D, 3 times D. And putting the values in parentheses, parentheses when they're side by side with a number means to multiply. Now I simply evaluate this. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times -5 is -15, which then becomes 4 minus 15, and 4 minus 15 would give us a result of -11. Next one, b squared minus e squared. Well, b is -3 and e is 6. So I need to make sure, especially when I'm raising anything to an exponent, that when I substitute in my values, I put parentheses around them. Now, please trust me. Always put parentheses around the values that you substitute in, especially when they're negatives. Also, especially if you're ever using a calculator to help evaluate anything, you need to make sure those negative values go inside parentheses before you raise them to any power. So now let's evaluate. -3 squared. Well, squaring something we know means to multiply it by itself. So -3 squared would mean -3 times -3. -3 times -3, a negative times a negative is a positive, and so that would become +9. Minus 6 squared, 6 times 6 is 36. 9 minus 36, -27. Number 3, -3c, so -3 times c, and c is 4, minus the sum, so in parentheses, a plus d. Let's see, a is 2, d is -5, and then outside of the parentheses, plus f, which is -7. So after I go ahead and I substitute my values in, what you can see I also did here is because I had to substitute in a -5 inside of the original parentheses that you see there, I did change the outside parentheses to brackets. Brackets are just a rectangular type of parenthesis. It's just another type of grouping symbol, but it means the same thing. So now I'm going to evaluate. Now I know in my order of operations, I can take care of the -3 times 4 on the outside first while I'm simplifying what's inside the brackets. So -3 times 4, that's where I'm getting my -12. And then minus, well, 2 plus a -5. 2 plus -5 really means 2 minus 5, and 2 minus 5 is -3. And then we don't like double signs, so I wouldn't write plus -7 anymore. Plus a -7 really just means to -7. Now look what happens here. In the expression, I need to subtract a negative, another double sign. Subtracting a negative we know really means to add. And then we know that when we do addition and subtraction, last step, we always do them in order from left to right. -12 plus 3 is -9, and then -9 minus 7 is -16. Next one, 2 times b minus e, close parentheses, plus, in parentheses, f plus c, and that entire expression of f plus c is getting squared. First step, like always, let's go ahead and substitute in those numbers carefully. So this would be 2 times -3 minus 6, close parentheses, plus, in parentheses, -7 plus 4 squared. So I have two sets of grouping symbols, and that's definitely the first thing I need to take care of. -3 minus 6 is -9. -7 plus 4 is -3. I have an exponent here that I need to take care of. -3 to the second power, we spoke about that before, is +9. A negative times a negative is a positive. And then over here on the left, I can take care of 2 times -9. 2 times -9 is -18. So now this is really -18 plus 9, and -18 plus 9 is negative 9. Number 5. Ooh, there's a lot going on here. D minus C divided by 3. So we know the entire expression of D minus C is going to then get divided by 3. Minus 4 times the quantity or the sum of AB, so A times B, and then plus F. A lot's going on, but first step, always let's plug in the numbers carefully for each variable. Okay, so you can check your work as I am showing you what's here. And now we can start evaluating. I see over on the left, I could start simplifying my negative 5 minus 4. Negative 5 minus 4 is negative 9. I can also start to simplify a little bit what's going on inside my grouping symbols. And what I can do here is the 2 times negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So now I have negative 9 divided by 3 minus 4 times, and now this is negative 6, and we know that plus negative 7 really just means minus 7. I can simplify my division fact here. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. I also can simplify negative 6 minus 7. Negative 6 minus 7 would give us negative 13. I notice here I have two operations. I have subtraction and I have multiplication. We know we have to do our multiplying first. So when I look at this, it's negative 4 times negative 13, which would give me positive 52. And now I can finally add negative 3 plus 52 is positive 49. Last one, C times AB minus 1 plus DE minus F squared. So again, all the variables are here, just like in the last problem. We just have to plug in all the numbers very carefully. A lot of parentheses and grouping symbols are going on here for sure because we have a lot of numbers to plug in. And when I look at this expression, I ask myself again, do I have grouping symbols? I do. And so the first thing I would need to take care of is 2 times negative 3. So this part of the expression would become negative 6. I can also clean these two parts up at the same time. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. And then negative 7 squared, which means negative 7 times negative 7, would give me a positive 49. Now, because it says minus negative 7 squared, the negative 7 squared is 49, and then I have to make sure I'm subtracting that value. In my next step here, I would simplify what's still in my grouping symbols. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. I then have to take care of the multiplication part of this problem. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And then we know we do subtraction in order from left to right. So negative 20 minus 30 is negative 58. And then negative 58 minus 49 gets us negative 107. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks you so much for watching. Bye.